I had the good fortune. I'm here at the Starbucks in Port Hueneme after my evening of recording at Satwiwa. I had the good fortune of running into. Are you a local?
I do. I live in Port Wayne.
Okay, who uses that recreation area? And I just wanted to take the opportunity to have someone who has experienced that on a regular basis describe what they use it for and what they experience in the park. And just to clarify, I said to you, "Oh, I'm doing documentation up at Satwiwa,"
Right.
which you didn't know what I was referring to until I said, "Oh, you probably know it as Santa Monica Mountains
Yeah.
Recreation."
Something like that. Like Old Boney is what the locals call it, right?
Old Boney.
Yeah, that old bridge.
But you didn't recognize when I said Satwiwa.
Term, correct.
Okay, but we're talking about the same area, which I go to for Native American spiritual practice reasons. And how do you use that area?
Well, I use it for athletic purposes. So I'm up there running the trails and riding a mountain bike on the trails and occasionally go hiking with my daughter.
Okay, and when you say regularly, so how often are you in the park?
More often than most, probably 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up there all the time. I don't live far. I'm 15 minutes away.
And that's all year round?
Yeah.
And you happen to describe something to me, which, because I have the dog, I can't go see, that you were saying the wildflower bloom this year is better, and this is post-burn. You were describing some...
It is. I think it's 2 years post-burn. So I experienced last spring as well, and it was just dormant. There was nothing.
Okay.
This spring, there's a pretty impressive bloom there. Multicolored flowers, I don't know their names, but they're everywhere, especially at the lower elevations. I'm talking about the slope down to the coast, specifically the Ray Miller Trail and anything out of Sycamore Canyon as well.
Out of Sycamore Canyon. Okay, so you're seeing what someone who unlike me, who knows those flowers and is looking for them, that just a tourist would stop and go, "Oh, that's beautiful."
Yeah.
Okay, but last year not so much. This year is impressive.
Last year almost not at all.
Okay.
This year, pretty impressive.
Okay.
I mean, there have been bigger blooms, but this one,
So how many years have you been?
I don't know, 15, 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
Down those hills, yeah.
Okay, so you have quite a reference point.
Yes.
So so this is post-burn. Had you seen any this is the first burn?
Actually, no. There have been small burns, intermittently small burns here and there, and the seeds germinate readily, and it produces a really, really healthy bloom. So I thought that would happen after the big burn,
Right.
but it didn't.
Which I can tell you is because we're in a drought. We didn't get
sure, right.
the problem there is that we didn't have the rains that we
Right.
would have.
That makes perfect sense.
Right.
And this year, finally, we had a little bit of rain,
Yeah.
so it's responding nicely.
Describe to me, if you can, your experience in the park.
Well, that's a general question. It's always positive. It's not a social experience, though there are other runners that go up there. Running is a solitary experience, so I'm doing that by myself for the most part. It's a sensual experience. I love the views of the ocean. I love the flora and the fauna. Yesterday I saw a rattlesnake. It must have just hatched. It was like this long, and it had in its mouth half a lizard. So the ecosystem there is obviously up and running again. A couple of weeks ago I saw a couple of deer up there, and I hadn't seen them in a long, long time. So that's my experience. It's always wonderful.
Okay, so I just kind of wanted to describe part of what I'd put in videos. The conversation of your 6-year-old daughter is involved in technology,
Yes.
but that you and enjoying technology, and yet you ensure she also she likes the experience of being in nature, as do you. That
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
interacting with that.
Yeah, lately we've been using it as a training ground because we go to the Sierras a lot. So I take her up La Jolla Canyon for a hike, and I convince her that we're training for the bigger hikes that we're going to do in the Sierras.
Ah,
She's very receptive of that.
okay.
Yeah.
So I've lost my train of thought here. I'm particularly wanting to. Actually, you've just given me the opportunity because we did discuss that you are familiar with the visitor center at Mono Lake.
Yeah.
And you're not sure if you're familiar with the one at Death Valley.
Not so much, no.
Okay.
I've seen it on television.
Okay.
Yeah.
But could you tell me a little bit about? You mentioned the Sierras, so
Yes.
I mean the connection there between. So you're training here for something there,
Exactly. Yeah.
and could you tell me about that?
I go up there once a month or so. In the wintertime, I go cross-country skiing up there. And in the summertime, I do runs and mountain bikes. So, yeah.
Okay, so your familiarity with the visitor center there is is not as an official tourist. It's more. I mean, you're not. It's not a destination.
No, it's never a destination. It's passing through.
Okay.
I go to the in Lee Vining, they have a bookstore kind of coupled with that original visitor center there. And I go in there and look at the books. That's about it.
Okay. Let me see if I
Seen
can.
the video presentation that they do. I saw that years ago.
And can you describe that?
It talks about the history of Mono Lake and the threat to Mono Lake and the ecosystem there.
Threat by who?
By the drought and also by developers, I imagine.
LADWP. I'll clarify.
Exactly.
It was
That's
specifically
right. Of course it
LADWP,
was. Right.
which is very well detailed and documented in both visitor centers
Yeah.
in the national parks, both for Desert Valley and Death Valley and for Mono Lake. That the draining, the damage to the ecosystem in the Eastern Sierras was done specifically by LADWP. And it's very well documented. David Gaines, one naturalist, one UC Davis student, is actually credited with saving Mono Lake, and that's there's a whole display attributing to him. But I was wondering, because I haven't watched the video, what they cover in that.
I don't think they get very political. They skirt that issue.
It's kind of hard to avoid it because there's one entity that drained Mono Lake to the point where it was endangering many species. So, okay, I really just for do you want to give a first name, last name, whatever?
My name's Hart Schultz. Last name Schultz, first name Hart, like in your chest. My daughter is Jessie Hurtado. She's my traveling companion.
All right, and you're a Point Hueneme resident.
Point Hueneme resident, yeah.
Can I ask where you grew up?
I was born in Germany, but I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and then got involved in surfing. So by the time I got to college, I moved out to Port Hueneme to be closer to the ocean, and then discovered that whole Santa Monica Mountain range. You know, I've been using that ever since.
For those birthers, were you born on American soil, even in Germany?
I was not. No, I was a German citizen until I was about 30 years old.
Oh.
Changed citizenship.
Oh, wow, interesting. I assume because there's so much military in Germany that perhaps you were born on a base.
I have a niece who was born on a military base.
Oh.
So she was an American citizen automatically.
Right, which is very, very
But I'm a
interesting.
California guy. I love this. I hope that people like you can work to preserve what's left of Southern California.
Thank you. I mean, I did not script that. But
No,
that
she did not.
that
Never met
is
this woman before.
that is the point, is that California, and that's what I gush. It is just the most wonderful place, and we really want to share what is unique to California. There is so much that is unique, and to enhance it and make it available to people to enjoy. So thank you for
Thank you.
taking the time. Bye-bye.